Good morning, everyone. This is Commissioner Scar. Today is Tuesday, October 8th, 2025, and we'll call this meeting to order at 8 a.m. As a reminder, our call-in number is 1-971-254-3149, conference ID 866-914-607#. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to mute their phone. You can do this by pressing *6. Please unmute yourself when called to speak, again pressing *6. It is very important for all others to remain muted. Thank you. All right, well, let's start with our Board of Commissioners roll call. Commissioner Fournier, good morning.
Good morning.
And Commissioner Bell.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right, we will jump in with Adventist Health Tillamook. Good morning, Eric.
Hey, good morning, Commissioner. We have 11 patients in the hospital today, plus 2 brand new babies. Yesterday, we had 3 surgery cases. Our ambulance crews yesterday did 4 911 transports, 3 transfers, no transports home. 81 patients boarding in emergency departments across Oregon. That's 45 less than yesterday. 273 discharge delays with no change from yesterday. I just want to thank everybody who came to the ribbon cutting ceremony for the dialysis center last week. I appreciate all 3 commissioners being there. It was great to celebrate that event finally, and love to see that we have a partner in DCI who's taking care of patients who have end-stage renal disease and require dialysis. Just so grateful for everybody's prayers and hard work to make that happen in our community. So unless you've got questions for me, I'll go back on mute.
Thank you, Eric. Any questions for Eric? Okay, not hearing any. Just to say that it was a great event at the hospital as you opened that dialysis center. I know that we were all pleased to be able to celebrate that with our community, but certainly not nearly as pleased as those who have had those rough travels for a couple of years now, waiting for the center to open, and we just appreciate everyone who pushed hard to make that happen. So thank you for that work.
You're welcome.
Okay, we will move on to our Coastal Caucus. I believe I see Senator Weber with us this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Boy, do I wish to miss the sunshine. These dark mornings, I'm afraid they're hard to get used to. I just appreciated the sunshine in the morning so much, but I guess we've got more of this to come. It's a pleasure to be here today. Some of the things that I mentioned last week, particularly surrounding the Child Care Caucus, we had people from all over the state talking about our child care situation here in Tillamook, and we also toured a facility that I had no idea it was in my neighborhood. I have noticed how well kept the area is and the house is, and how friendly the people are who are running it and in visiting it. I was just so pleased and so proud of how people in our area are stepping up to answer the challenge of how we are going to keep our children safe, especially so their parents can go to work and be safe and secure in knowing that their children are well cared for. So that was a great experience. Senator Anderson from down south was here, and Representative Jules Walters was also here, and the staff from Onwen, was recently passed, was also there. So it was a really good meeting. And then last week I also was in Salem for the Joint Public Education Appropriations Committee, where we are looking at how we are allocating money to schools, and is it adequate, and are we taking everything into consideration that needs to be taken into consideration for funding of schools. This is a report that comes out every 2 years, and so we are working on that right now. Hopefully the report will be out sometime in December. We have a few more meetings to be able to discuss that, and We have asked for a lot of information and a lot of data so that we can make better judgments going forward about what needs to be done. And I have to admit that the ribbon cutting at the Kidney Center was great. You know, you have turned that space. I know it was a welcoming place, but into an even more welcoming place where people can go and feel cared for. And thank you. That's what I can say. Thank you. Then last week, I was also invited to the economic development directors from around the state being in Astoria for a meeting, and got to speak with all of them about particular challenges that we are seeing in our area regarding economic development and how we move forward. And then talking also about legislation going forward in the next short session, and how, you know, we've only got 2 bills apiece, and how are we going to be able to make those count. And, you know, the fact that, you know, we're going into election time, and what kind of challenges are we going to see with that? And so that was a particularly interesting meeting. Representatives were from all corners of the state regarding economic development. It was a very productive meeting. And then to follow that, I also got to meet with the distillers in Astoria to talk about some challenges that they're facing, and I'm sure that they are also facing those with our breweries, especially in other areas like Tillamook. And so there are going to be some special legislation or rules changes regarding that that are going to be coming forward, and we'll just have to wait to see what they're going to look like. On another note, one of my favorite fundraisers of the whole year is the FFA Alumni Banquet. And I got to go to that on Saturday night, and it was wonderful. They have an amazing silent auction, and I was very pleased to be able to win one of the prizes. But they had a great oral auction also, and it was so nice to see the kids, the people, their families, and other people from the community participating in this. And it's an effort, of course, to raise money for scholarships. But, you know, the local part of it is so inspiring. So that was great. Yesterday, I spent a lot of time on the phone talking with school board members from various places in my district. And I have not printed out the full bill yet, but they're very concerned about House Bill 2453 that was passed concerning equity committees. And so if you're on a school board, I'd appreciate it if you'd look up House Bill 2453 and look up Section 2B and see and what you think about it. It is talking about, you know, the power of the superintendent to make decisions and the equity committees. So look it up, read it, see what you think. Let me know what your thoughts are, because not all bills are passed and are every word has been evaluated for consequences. And so changes need to be made at some point in time. And so if you would look that up, and I would appreciate it very much. And I think that's what I'm going to have to, no, I've got the Hunger Task Force today, and we are going to be talking, of course, about SNAP benefits and going forward with food security issues for our state. And also this week, I'm going to be at the Washington County Housing Forum. And so I'm looking forward to that also. And of course, the Vermont Sausage Festival is going to be this Saturday, first Saturday in November every year. It's amazing how they can produce and provide a home-cooked meal from scratch. And they feed about 7,000 people in that day. And every plate is as good as the first plate that comes off. So that's my week, and I'll have more for you next week because we have some exciting things coming up. And so any questions, let me know. Otherwise, just go and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you, Senator. Any questions for the senator? Okay, I'm not hearing any. We are going to have a special presentation this morning. So Senator, I hope you'll be able to stay with us. Cassandra Larson, our elected assessor, is going to talk to us a little bit about tax bills and a little about what her office has been working so hard on. And I know, Senator, you had a specific question you raised last week that had come from a constituent about how can the value of my property go down and my tax bill go up. So I've shared that question with her, as well as just ask her to talk a little bit more broadly. And so she's going to take 5 minutes or so and talk taxes. So Cassandra, please.
Cassandra, this is Suzanne.
Good morning,
I have one
Suzanne.
more question.
Yes.
I have one more question that has come up this week, and then people are concerned about the urban renewal assessment on their tax statement. And if you could, tell us something about that.
Sure.
I would appreciate it. Or, if you want to do some more research and get in touch with me later, I would appreciate that also. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Hello, everybody. Again, I'm Cassandra Larson. I'm the Tillamook County Assessor and Tax Collector. And today actually marks 23 years with the Tillamook County Department. So very happy and honored to have served the folks of Tillamook County for 23 years. So the question that I got last week was, why does my real market value go down, but my taxes still go up? So the short answer is that property taxes are based, excuse me, on your assessed value, not your real market value. If you look at your tax statement, you'll see two values, your real market value and your assessed value. The assessed value is typically much lower than the real market value. This past year, for example, for all residential properties, the assessed value was about 50% to the real market value. So let's say you have a real market value of $100,000, your assessed value would be about $50,000. Now here's the thing, that assessed value is how your taxes are calculated, and you're taxed at a rate per thousand of assessed value, not the real market value. And the assessed value by statute increases 3% a year, unless you make changes to your property, like building a new home or adding in a garage. So if nothing changes, your assessed value increases 3% a year, no matter what the market is doing. And this system was voted back in 1997 to give property owners predictability in their tax bills. Before that, taxes were based on real market value. And the market in the 90s was skyrocketing. So from one year to the next, property owners didn't know if their tax bills were going to go up 10% with the market or if they were going to go down 5%. So this assessed value is what you hear about, this 3% cap. This is another question that I get a lot. Well, my taxes are only supposed to go up 3%. Why'd they go up 6%? Okay, well, there's two different things. You have your assessed value that goes up 3%, but you also have your tax rate that comes into play with that. And the tax rate is the variable that causes your taxes to go up more than 3%. So for instance, this year, we have the radio bond that was voted in. That increased the tax rate by about 32 cents per thousand of assessed value. If you live in the school district 56 in the Neoconi area, they had a local option voted in for their school, which was 75 cents per thousand of assessed value. But then they also had a bond last year was the last year that they levied. And so there was a net change. So the bond came off, the local option came on, and it was about a 26 cent increase in the tax rate. So I hope that that has answered your question on why does my real market value change, but my taxes still go up? It's Measure 50, and it's to provide predictability in your tax bills from one year to the next. Tax bills were mailed October 17th. So if you have not received your tax statement by now, please contact our office at 842-3400, and we'll look into that and see why you have not received it. Taxes are due by November 17th this year in order to receive the full 3% discount. We are open 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. And just to put a plug in there for myself, I will be on the radio this morning on Tillamook Today at 9:30 a.m. to kind of take a deeper dive into property taxes and go over a little more about what property taxes mean for Tillamook County, how we're compared to other counties, and what our department is responsible for. And if you don't have any other questions, that's all I have.
Thank you, Cassandra. I think the senator asked about
Oh, urban renewal.
urban renewal. Can you speak to that? Just a few words.
Right. Okay, so we have two urban renewals. We have the City of Tillamook Urban Renewal, which has been in existence for quite a few years. And we also have Garibaldi Urban Renewal, and that has also been in existence for quite a few years. So there's nothing new this year when it comes to seeing urban renewal on someone's tax statement. What urban renewal does is, see, how do I say this short? If you are in an urban renewal area, your property taxes, part of your property taxes go to the urban renewal district. That amount, you are not taxed anymore. That amount that goes to the urban renewal district comes off of the permanent rates of the other districts in that area. So their rates are essentially compressed, right? So you don't see any change in your tax bill, but what you see, the districts see a loss in revenue as it goes to urban renewal. Is that a good answer?
Senator, does that answer your question? I'm gonna guess she got
Yes.
pulled in. Oh, there you are. Perfect.
Yes, it answers my question. My other question is, do you have to be within the boundaries of the urban renewal district to pay the taxes, or does everyone pay the urban renewal tax?
It is within the city limits that you're in.
Okay,
So if you are in the city limits, then you pay into urban renewal. Not
Thank
just
you.
within the urban renewal district.
okay.
Yep.
I will
Excellent.
use that information wisely. Thank you.
All right. Well, I would like to thank Cassandra for being with us
Yeah.
this morning. Explaining numbers on the radio is never an easy task because it's really hard. You know, people have to be taking notes and paying close attention sometimes to grab numbers. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that you did it in a very short window of time. And I really do invite everyone to tune in to KTIL at 9:30 to hear Cassandra talk more about our taxes and how that all works. And to recognize that if you can't be there this morning, those become a podcast that are available for you to listen to at your convenience. So taxes are important. Counties operate largely on the property taxes that are collected, including the bonds and levies, as do our special districts, our schools, et cetera. So it's really important for you to understand how taxes work in our local community, because that is how your basic services that you think of from your special districts and your county are funded. And as we look at whether or not we have enough resources to continue to provide what we currently provide or to add a service at your desire, those kinds of things, this is a huge piece of what makes that decision is, do we have enough money? And here's where the money comes from. So I just invite everyone to learn more. Okay, with that, then we will go ahead and move on in our regular agenda. We'll jump down to the Tillamook County Community Health Center. Good morning, Camille.
Good morning. I'm going to first recognize Halloween is coming up on Friday, And it's a fun time of year filled with costumes, corn mazes, pumpkins, and of course, candy. While indulging in sweet treats is part of the celebration, it's important to remember to take care of our teeth. Sugary snacks can lead to cavities and tooth decay, so brushing and flossing after enjoying those sweets is essential. Avoid sticky and sour candy and go for the chocolate, and don't snack too much on sugar. To have a safe, enjoyable Halloween, let's keep in mind these tips and tricks from the American Dental Association for maintaining good oral health this Halloween season and beyond. Next, this is your weekly reminder that the Community Walk-in Vaccine Clinic is open every Monday and Wednesday at our Main Street Clinic location on 800 Main Avenue, Suite A here in Tillamook. The vaccine clinics have the flu shot and the updated mRNA COVID-19 booster available, as well as the pneumonia vaccine for those 65 years old and older. The walk-in clinic will be held through November 24th on Mondays and Wednesdays. Hours on Mondays are 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. and Wednesdays from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. And finally, coming up this weekend, we have the daylight savings event coming up, spring forward and fall back. So we will be falling back 1 hour. The familiar saying helps us to adjust our clocks for daylight savings time changes, which begins this Sunday, November 2nd. When our clocks move 1 hour behind, our entire day is shifted, including the time we go to bed and wake up. According to the CDC, our body may have a little bit of difficulty adjusting to the time change due to our circadian rhythms, which is the way we regulate our bodies. And we may have a difficulty with sleep and driving to work or other activities. It can take our bodies about a week to adjust to the new time, so start preparing early and stick to your schedule. Adjust 15 minutes at a time, avoid long naps and coffee and alcohol, and fall is in full swing. That is all I have for us today.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it, Camille. Any questions for Camille today? Not hearing any. We'll move on to Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy, and we will welcome Gail back. Good morning, Gail.
Yes, good morning. It's good to be back. And hello, everyone in Tillamook County. At the Nehalem Bay Health Center and Pharmacy, we are finalizing our plans to start providing dental services. And we have board-approved policies in place for these services. And we're just wrapping up our plans for our service who will be helping us with billing. And another good piece of information is we have successfully recruited and hired a family nurse practitioner. His start date is being finalized. We heard the good word yesterday on that. And staff continues to get settled into our new space. I would like to express our appreciation to the community for all of their support and patience as we continue to get settled here. It's a beautiful space, and if you haven't had a chance to see it yet, you're welcome to come in and see the public spaces and ask for a tour of other spaces if you're interested. Again, we're here to serve you. If you're interested in scheduling an appointment with one of our providers, including behavioral health, please give us a call, 800-368-5182 for more information or to schedule an appointment. And that's it for me this morning.
Thank you, Gail. Okay, any questions for Gail? Not hearing any, we will keep trucking. We do not have Tillamook Family Counseling Center with us today. Frank was unavailable, but we will jump right in with emergency management. Good morning, Randy. I can see that you're here, Randy. Are you probably on another call?
No, I made it.
There he is. It's that darn unmuting. Welcome, Randy.
Yeah, no, it's, I was doing something else and lost the window for the meeting, and that kind of shows you that I'm not really thinking straight today. But anyway, just wanted to start off a little bit that we're going to start those coastal rains and winter storms rolling in. We noticed that last weekend, and again this weekend we'll have it. And so again, because this time of year, we're going to bring on the power outages due to the high winds, some flooding. And a little preparation is going to go a long way if we prepare now before we get into the thick of things. And just remember to refresh your emergency kit, you know, flashlight, batteries, food, medications, phone charger. Remember those pet foods too, because they need to survive too through any type of emergency. Also, you know, we know our risk here. We've got, you know, the one we're dread, the coastal earthquakes and tsunami. We do get a lot of flooding and landslides with our heavy rains. So if we start to really get some heavy rains, then we need to make sure that we prepare ourselves for flooding and some isolation and some landslides, which will hinder our travel. The biggest thing is also to stay informed. And you can do that by, you can go onto the National Weather Service's Portland office weather site, and they've got lots of good, cool links on different weather information that you can get. So it's there's quite a few. And also sign up for our alerts here in the county, and that's through oralerts.gov. And there are some people out there that still have the old NOAA weather radios, and they're still viable. And NOAA is still sending out alerts on those radios. So if that's something that interests you, I would pick up a NOAA weather radio. And then the last thing, what we really need to do is just watch out for our neighbors. And we seem to be very good at that from what I've seen over the last 4 years I've been here. And, you know, of course, we're stronger together. Check in on, you know, anybody, senior people or people living alone or families with young kids, or just anybody you think might need some extra help during some bad weather. And just stay safe, stay warm, and stay ready. Speaking on the weather, that wonderful atmospheric river will be headed towards us this weekend, bringing some heavy winds and rain to the area. And that will be Friday and Saturday. Hopefully, it won't hit the trick-or-treaters too bad. That's what we're hoping, but there's always that chance. So again, be prepared for that. And at this time, the Weather Service is predicting this storm system is not going to be as impactful as last weekend. So, but we will see some increase in winds and in our rainfall. And on the horizon, guess what's coming up on November 5th through the 7th? It's going to be our first king tide. Again, that'll be on November 5th through the 7th. Then our next king tide will come in December on the 4th through the 6th. And then in January on the 1st to the 4th. King tides are great to look at from a distance, and just if you decide you're going to venture out and get some really cool pictures, just be safe and make sure that you stay a safe distance away from the tides that are coming in, because they can be very surprising at times. So anyway, with that, I'll turn it back to you, Commissioner Scar.
Thank you. Any questions for Randy?
Hey, Randy, it's Mary Sue. I was wondering, Randy, if you have the results handy from the tsunami evacuation and drill, the Oregon Shakeout drill. I know Velda sent them out recently. So if you have those now, that'd be great. And if not, maybe you could share them with us next week.
Probably next week. I haven't gone through those. I noticed that she sent them out. Initial look was right around about 500. But that wasn't, we were still, as in the elections, we still had returns coming in. So I'll give a firm update next Tuesday, but it was down a little bit from last year. And the kind of consensus of the PC4 group is that there was a lot of people out there that thought, well, I practiced this last year. Why do I need to practice it again this year? Well, that's not the right thing to do. We need to practice our evacuation every year. And that's why we have it every year, is because that helps keep us up to date and make sure that we are prepared for those types of situations.
Okay, thank you. I'll look forward to that next week.
You bet.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Randy. All right, we will move on to the Board of Commissioners. Commissioner Bell, would you like to start today?
You bet. Thank you. Well, I want to thank the community for coming out for the Tides of Change annual Soup Bowl fundraising event. That was Saturday night. I'd like to thank my fellow commissioners for being there, and Commissioner Fournier for he and his partner Michelle were there working the event, and it was fabulous. I was also there working the event as a board member, as well as at least 30 volunteers. It takes a village kind of event. There's so much work involved. So kudos to Nelia Saratista at Pacific, the owner and chef at Pacific, and her crew for providing the place and a lot of the food and a lot of the help. And it was wonderful. And also to all the local restaurants that provided donations of food, the soup for the Soup Bowl event, and breads and desserts. I think there were 18 local restaurants that donated. So the generosity of our local business community is extraordinary. And also there were fabulous donated soup bowls that people got to take home, Potter's bowls, as a result of being there. And so it was a wonderful event, very well supported. I'm as usual, so impressed with our community and our community's willingness to step up and support important projects and issues. And certainly domestic violence and sexual assault is one of those. And just for reference, the Tides of Change this year served 600 survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault, which is it's a shocking number for a small community. And, we're 27,000 people in the county, 600 survivors. So it's very, very important work. And I'm really grateful for all the support and for the fabulous event that we had. And speaking of important issues, community hunger is on my mind as the deadline looms for the government shutdown, and the understanding that people who receive the food benefits via the Oregon Trail Card will not receive them as of the first of the month. They won't receive them as the government shutdown continues. And so that will be a crisis, a hunger crisis in our community that I don't think American communities have seen since before the program was instituted, I think in the 30s, because it means that folks who have no food budget will have nothing whatsoever. And to make matters that much worse, the federal funding has been drastically reduced to the food banks. So people won't be able to just go to the food banks and make up the difference for what they don't get from the Oregon Trail program. And so because the food banks, the shelves are low, and the food banks also. So it's, I don't know that communities will be able to make up all that difference, but we are a generous community. We care about each other, and we can do what we can. So I've been thinking about that this week. What do I personally want to do about it? And I came up with an idea that I wanted to share because it's good for me. It's that I have an emergency preparedness supply of shelf-stable food that I have for our own personal emergencies. If we have one, what I'll use to feed my family and maybe my neighbors until utilities are restored or whatever. So I'm going to turn that over because occasionally you need to change it out anyway. So I'm gonna use some of our emergency preparedness stores, take it to the food banks and replace it. And maybe I'll replace it like that. That'll come out of Christmas budget or whatever because I think it's that important. So I just wanted to offer that idea because it occurred to me this week, and I thought, oh yeah, that's a good approach because in that storage, I have high protein, shelf stable stuff that would sustain people. So it can sustain my neighbors, and I'll turn over my preparedness cash
it's not a lot, but it'll be enough to feed some families. So I just wanted to offer that and ask people to be thinking about it. On an up note, last week I was invited to the UAVSI conference, which stands for Unmanned Aerial Vehicle Systems International. And it's an international conference and this group was the Western states, of which Aerostar out of the Port of Tillamook Bay is a member. And they have a Western States conference a couple times a year, and they had never been to Tillamook before. So this is really cool. They're probably, I think Kevin Tucker from Aerostar told me there were 100 to 200 members who in the Western States Coalition, and they travel around to each other's locations, but this was their first time in Tillamook. So that was really cool to have that many professional visitors in our community. And I was invited to come and make a presentation about the opportunities about our community and the opportunities to do business here, which was just really and truly a pleasure for me to learn about their industry, learn about the facility at Port of Tillamook Bay. I knew a little bit about it. I learned more about it, learn about their coalition and the businesses represented in it. And in that process, it became really clear to me that Aerostar could be the anchor business in a UAV hub of businesses at the Port of Tillamook Bay. It could be a whole new tech industry here, which currently is just Aerostar. It could be more. And there's land available, there's services, shovel-ready spots available at the port. So it was really dynamic to be able to learn about all of that and present that, like, come here, we want you. And there are distinct advantages to businesses coming here that don't exist in other places. So I was able to talk about that, and it was really cool. It was one of those things that was like, oh, I love this job. I get to learn about new things all the time and promote things that promote my community in ways that are really meaningful. So that was great. And I just want to remind people that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I have talked about this before in the past as a breast cancer survivor. I won't tell my whole story this morning, but my breast cancer was found early at very small tumors, and therefore it was easily treatable. I have been cancer-free now since 2017, and the point of this is that early detection saves lives. When cancer has grown, when they found mine, it was too small to have been detected by feel. You couldn't feel it. It was tiny and deep in the tissue. And so the only way it would have been found was with a mammogram. And what happens with some women who don't get mammograms or don't get them regularly is that the cancer has a chance to grow. And once it's grown, then it can spread throughout your whole body. So that's when it becomes deadly. So I just want to remind people, a lot of us, our lives are very full and fast, and it's easy to forget the annual exam. Just remind people it's October, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Check and see. You may be due. You don't need a referral for a mammogram. You generally just need to go get one. So if it's been a year, you're qualified. So please check that out, and I will stop there.
Thank you, Commissioner Bell. Commissioner Fournier.
Hi, good morning. Well, Commissioner Bell and Senator Weber seem to cover a couple of the events I went to. So I'm just going to be really quick and just do an update on a subject that people keep contacting me about, is the abandoned RV issue, and want people to know that we are still moving forward with that. We have basically a team or a task force that will be meeting this Friday again, which consists of Sarah Absher from Community Development, Justin from Solid Waste, Chris from Public Works, and Sheriff Josh Brown from the Sheriff's Office. And we are in the process of figuring out new code enforcement ordinances and new ways, and more efficient ways of dealing with these issues of abandoned RVs, as well as properties that have all kinds of code violations on them. So we're working on it. Things are happening. In fact, I just saw an abandoned trailer yesterday, took a photo, and Josh Brown, I think, sent a deputy immediately out there, and I think it's being removed today. So I want people to know that this community, we are taking this serious. We are moving forward. We have some policies that we need as a board to review and decide how we're going to move forward with that, as well as a code enforcement officer position, which we're developing right now. So I want people to know that this is a priority for us and that for these departments as well. And keep the emails coming and the phone calls coming, and we're documenting all of them and highlighting and prioritizing the sites that we'll be dealing with first, and those are going to be the most high visible ones that people mostly are calling about. So that's all I got today, since my colleagues have mentioned the other events that I went to this week. So I'll keep it short.
Perfect. Thank you, Commissioner. All right, I will also keep it short. I'm just going to highlight, we have a land use hearing tomorrow night, Wednesday, the 29th, around text amendment changes to the land use codes for Oceanside. This hearing was started last week and continued to this week. It will be at 5:30 p.m. at the Port of Tillamook Bay Conference Room. So if you were looking for the Oceanside land use hearing tomorrow night, 5:30 at the port. With that, I'm going to move us on to our cities. I did not see the city of Manzanita with us, so I'm going to pause just in case. Sometimes I miss a phone number. Okay, not hearing anyone coming off of mute. I will move on to Rockaway Beach and Mayor McNeely.
And I'm coming off mute. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
In the interest of the theme, I will keep it short also. I just have two items. Nan Devlin of the Tillamook Coast Visitors Association is rolling out short reels on Visit Rockaway Beach Facebook site, featuring interviews with business owners in Rockaway Beach. The first four are complete: Joe's Snacks with Deborah Reeves, Green Coast Market with the Maxfields, Oregon Dewdrops with the Dubois, and Troxel's Gem and Jewelry, Rock Garden, and Miniature Golfing with the Troxels. A big shout out to Deborah Reeves for suggesting this project, and of course to Nan for delivering on the suggestion. And then Rockaway Beach's Trunk or Treat was rescheduled in an abundance of caution. Set your calendar for this Friday, the actual Halloween day, October 31st, from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Still going to be located at the Anchor Street parking lot. And shout out to our fire department and business association for keeping this event alive. And happy Halloween to all. Back to you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, we move on to Mayor Leanne Welch in Bay City.
Good morning, Commissioner. This is Mayor Welch. So this morning at 9:30, we have coffee with the mayor and city manager at the Bay City Hall. So all are welcome to come visit with us and talk about issues going on at the city. And the Bay City is also hosting a trunk or treat on Friday, October 31st, from 5 to 7. If you want to register and get involved in a trunk or treat, then call City Hall at 503-377-2288 and register your car, or just bring the kids around from 5 to 7. And included this year is the Bay City Fire Department has turned 2 of our bays into a haunted house. So our volunteer firefighters have done an outstanding job at getting that ready. So all are welcome for a fun-filled night in Bay City on Halloween, October 31st. That's all I have for you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, that, I believe, was the last of our cities who's with us today. So with that, I will thank KTIL for broadcasting, everyone for listening, and we're going to adjourn a little early today at 8:44 a.m. Thank you, everyone. Have a fabulous day.